So after listening to Rosa, the story about Rosa Parks, we're now going to look at our writing lesson of drafting a problem and solution. We're going to first begin by looking at our character trait for this month, which is diversity and acceptance. The definition of diversity is the practice of including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds. In this story, did we see any examples of diversity? We saw people of different backgrounds, both social backgrounds and ethnic backgrounds. We saw both Black people and white people, but we did not see the practice of including or involving people. For acceptance, the definition of acceptance is the action or process of being received as adequate or suitable, typically to be admitted into a group. In this story, did we see any examples of acceptance? Well, the women that helped organize for Rosa Parks and made posters, they accepted her. And you could say at the very end of the story, because the Supreme Court ended segregation on buses, that there was finally some acceptance at the end of our story. But we're going to further look into what problem did Rosa Parks face. So a problem is what goes wrong. It is a challenge or an obstacle. The solution is the way the problem is solved or worked out. A solution is the fix. So thinking of our story, what were some of the problems that Rosa faced in our reading? Well, one of the problems she faced was being yelled at to get up from her seat on the bus. Another problem that she faced was having to sit in a different section of the bus. The problem that she faced that she was so tired of was not being able to share the same space with white people. If you remember from our book, she was tired of having to move off the sidewalk or move to the back of the bus so that white people could walk on the sidewalk or sit on the bus. We also remember that she had the problem she was tired of being treated separate and not equal. So those are a few of the problems that Rosa Parks faced in our story. The solution to these problems in our story, or the fix to the problem, well, people started to boycott riding the bus. So when the women made flyers to encourage people to not ride the bus, that helped to solve the problem of segregation. When the people kept marching for over a year, and they marched in Montgomery, that helped to find a solution to segregation, and they were marching for equal rights. When Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to the people, he spoke out for equal rights and to end segregation, and that helped to solve our problem of segregation and not equal rights. And eventually the solution to Rosa Parks' problem was that segregation was ended in the Supreme Court. They finally ended segregating schools and buses. So I want you each to take a screenshot of this activity. We're going to practice finding solutions to problems. by writing an ending to each story. So our first story says Jake and Kate like to ride their tricycles around the block together. One day, a wheel fell off of Kate's tricycle. So we're going to first look at what our problem is. So our problem in this story was one day a wheel fell off of Kate's tricycle. So now we need to figure a solution to our problem. How are we going to fix our problem of the wheel falling off of Kate's tricycle? One solution could be gluing the wheel back onto her tricycle. Another solution could be to buy a new tricycle. A solution could be to make a new tricycle. But how are we going to solve the problem of the wheel falling off Kate's tricycle? And you're going to write your solution on that line. Our next story, grandmother grew vegetables. She canned them, ate them, and gave them to the food bank. She grew more vegetables than she could eat, can, or even give away. Then she had a great idea. So first we need to identify the problem. The problem in this story is Grandma grew more vegetables than she could eat, can, or even give away. So on the following lines, you need to write a solution to Grandma's problem. How is Grandma going to fix the problem of growing way more vegetables than she could eat, can, or even give away? Our third story, Bill got a new dog. His new dog kept getting out through a hole in the fence and chasing cars. Bill knew this must stop. So we're going to first identify the problem. The problem in this story is the dog kept getting out of the fence, and so he was chasing cars. So we need to think of a solution or a fix to this problem. What should Bill do to solve the problem of his dog getting out of the fence? So I want you to take a screenshot of this activity and fill in your solutions and submit it to the Google Classroom. Tomorrow, we will draft our own problems and solutions. So be thinking of maybe problems that you've had and solutions you've come up with. And remember, we'll look back, our problem is what goes wrong, and our solution is the way the problem is solved or fixed. So I want you to screenshot these stories and write a solution to the problems in each of the stories.